We live in a world where you can scroll through 1,000 lives in about 10 minutes. Isn't that just completely absurd? Like, seriously, like, you can see anything and everything under the sun on your phone. You know, God forbid we have so much access to everything that is going on in life. It's crazy. I mean, I can reach out to anybody, you know, and I can have so much access to completely destroy my brain, and it's only with a tap of a button. You can look at thousands of people's lives and still have no idea who you are. And I genuinely think most of us are at a crossroads. That's why we're just looking at other people and what they're doing in life. Every day, modern day society tells you who to be, what success looks like. Oh man, they just tell you everything, right? They tell you how fast you should move, how attractive you should look, how productive you should feel. They tell you how to feel as well. If you didn't know, I'll tell you now. They'll tell you how to feel. They'll tell you how to do every fucking thing, where it just leaves you to not figure things out on your own. No individualistic traits. You're just a complete copy and paste of the next person. And after a while, you'll stop hearing your own voice, bro. Like, seriously. And I'm speaking for everybody here, you know. You are given, like, this identity, this purpose. At least I think so. And many people are just sitting there and just completely destroying that special thing that they were given, that they were only given, you know? People aren't sharing every single thing that you got when it comes to your structure of brain, how you look, none of those things. And not to get too deep here, but that's the real crisis of this generation. Not the lack of information, it's the lack of self. You know, no pun intended, I was just sitting around and I was just on my phone scrolling. I don't really scroll as much these days. I've been eager to slow it down, you know, because that never helps. But I was watching people that I know personally that are doing pretty well in their lives. You know, I'm glad, because those people look like they're at peace, so that's always nice. I am a big advocate for people being at peace with themselves, regardless if we may not share the same moral code, and maybe we have different opinions in life and just live a different way. That will not make me hate you, you know, or want you to not do what it is that is upon your own destiny, I guess, regardless of whatever it may be. I don't know. Anyways, I want everybody to be happy. But at the same time, it would be nice if people would just, you know, play the leadership role, more attained to being completely helpful to society, you know, in ways where it's not always so fucking selfish. Like, seriously. Most people today are constantly at a crossroads with themselves, you know, and I'm one of those people that are always not able to pick a side. You'll die in the middle. That's what my boy would say. You know, shout out to my boy Joey. Or no, Jason would tell me that. And, you know, you die in the middle not being able to pick a side. That's just how it goes. And I'm not being literal here, you know. I'm just giving you guys a phrase for you guys to, like, catch up on, like, the idea. If you're at a crossroads with yourself, I think it's time you pick and you just completely choose. And that may be hard to do. For me, I feel like it's hard to do, because one side of me wants to live this role of being validated by society so I can be accepted. This comes from me being a child and always having to do more because people were always looking for more out of me. I was the kid that grew up around people that were usually all the same. You know, I grew up in a town where there's not a lot of Arab kids, or no, like my specific area in Philadelphia, there's not a lot of Arab kids. You know, there was not a lot of Arab kids. There wasn't, you know, multiracial from different places of the world, like the Middle East, you know. So I'm around a whole bunch of people from like the American Irish and just Americans, you know. So I was always getting judged. I was always, you know, being looked at as something that I wasn't. I mean, people were telling me that I was like a terrorist when I was younger. Like, seriously. And mind you, like, terrorist, I was like, I don't even know how to, like, even drive a plane, bro. I'm 6 or 7 years old. What are you talking about? And everybody's referencing me to, like, what happened back in September of 2001. I didn't get that as well, you know. Like, people were like, yo, you did this, you did that. I was like, what are you talking about? I just got here. I just got here. You're telling me that I was a cause of. I was like, I just got here. So it always blew me. You know, I was always being looked at as somebody that I wasn't, and it always made me go through this like constant cycle of losing my shit because I was like, why are these people like picking on me, like, or why are they like making me believe into something that I'm not, you know? So I would just like play this act of like being just like them. Like, seriously, like, these people would always judge me, bro. Like seriously, for the clothes that I would wear, you know, and the way that I maybe talked, or maybe the way that I did things. And this made me rebel as a child, you know. This made me very destructive, very different, you know, and I think it made me weak as well. But I say this all to say I was always at a crossroads with myself at a young age, you know, where I was just uncertain. I was never sure. I wasn't sure if this was okay. Like, you know what I mean? Now, I've gained more confidence in this. Truly, like, this is okay. Like, I love me being me. I like working on clothes. I like speaking to people about certain topics that are below the surface level. I like helping people. I like being able to let people realize things about themselves, because most of us are blinded and we're sleeping because we are taught to hate ourselves. But initially, let me get back on track and let me not drift. We're usually at a crossroads with ourselves from external sources. It never usually comes from the inside, you know. And for me, I feel like it's been that way for so long now. You know, we all want peace, but you're addicted to stimulation, you know. You want connection, but you isolate yourself online. You want purpose, but spend hours and hours consuming distraction. And usually we live most of this life just completely distracted. That's just the nature. Especially these days, yeah, you're bound to just completely be distracted. I mean, there's billboards everywhere. There's billboards, there's ads, there's this guy trying to sell you this thing, there's this guy trying to sell you this thing, and then you get hooked up there and you're just everywhere with it. I mean, you're spread so thin, it's just like you never get back to square one. And some people could live their lives like that. Me personally, it's very hard to. I'm still contemplating if I even want to go back to working a sales job, because I don't know what I'm doing right now, genuinely. I was making a good amount of money not too long ago doing something that I've been doing since I was younger, and it was damn sure something that definitely helped me be able to build some capital, you know, and learn how things really are moving in this world. But at the same time, now it's that I'm at a crossroads. I feel like I got to do something greater, so now I'm working on clothes. But it's weird because I'm still also in that identity crisis where I want to be able to go buy the nice car. I want to be able to show out in a way as well. Not for others necessarily, but I think I think so in a way as well, that I do want to do these things because it feels like I have to. And that's the thing that bothers me, you know? Like, that's the thing that bothers me. And I don't like that it bothers me. But most of us are also going through this where we have a really hard time just letting go of the person that we thought we were, because that person feels comfortable, feels safe, and all of those things, you know. Eventually you'll reach a point where you don't even know whether your decisions are like truly yours. I mean, I go through this a lot where I'm just like not even sure if I'm doing this because I want to do it, or it's because like I believe that I need to do it for like somebody else. This is coming from somebody that like was very popular growing up. I mean, was friends with everybody, all the older people and things like that, because I just was like wild. I just was so fast at a young age. I would just do everything older people were doing, and I think this is because as well that I just kind of like grew up much faster, and people my age seem to just never fail to disappoint me, you know. And I see how it kind of grew into my mature years of life, being the person that was called, I guess they would call me Aladdin as well. I don't think I look like this character, but I always knew the reference. They were like, yo, where's your rug at? Are you gonna like get on a rug and start flying? And I was like, nah, I would rather, you know, not have a rug and fly. I would just like to fly like a bird, you know. Why would I need a rug to fly? If it was that easy, I would be doing it. But anyways, yeah, you know, I was getting called all types of shit. I mean, at one point they were calling me Bao. Like, I don't know where they got that shit from too. I got curly hair. I'm not the darkest skin tone. I have really good skin complexion. But it's okay, you know, they were calling me everything under the sun, and it always made me really look at myself and feel so fucking insecure, I will say, and I will tell that to the world now. I was probably like 7 to like 12 years old going through this. After that point, I'm punching you straight in your shit if you're calling me certain things that I just don't like. And I'm being dead ass serious. Like, I just wasn't going for it after a certain point. This is what made me like lash out and just want to do whatever I wanted to do. Because after a point, I mean, you just picked at, you know, the dog, and the dog is like unsure, he's uncertain, he's friendly, you know, but he's also scared. You know, sometimes people are actually scaring me. Like seriously. I think there's a lot of unhazed trauma that needs to be healed, you know. That's why I'm trying now to get my shit together in terms of how I'm perceiving things, but I like to go back to understand why I am the way that I am. I wish it was that easy, but we have to pick a side, because if not, you will die in the middle. The crossroads is something that many of us face, especially these early years. I call it the early year life crisis. This is for, you know, your 20s. You know, the early life crisis is necessary when it comes to talking about the feeling. You know, the age of comparison. That is where we are at now, the age of comparison. It was never this amplified everyday struggle, but it's very hard to not do so. Everybody seems like they're doing way better than you, right? Everybody seems like I mean, they got the girl, you know, they got the money, they got the family, they got everything. You probably have a dysfunctional family, which I do. I love my family though, but you probably have a lot of unnecessary traumatic stories that you went through, like seeing your brothers almost die, seeing your mom almost die. So I say that to say, just don't shame yourself all the time for who you are. Seriously, you don't have to shame. It's just not going to help. Don't shame yourself. Appreciate the person that you are, and try to just keep moving forward, and come to a point where you do pick a side, and it should be truly you pointing back at yourself in your heart, bro. Like, in your heart, you know, your instincts are what is going to bring you to, I think, the peace. At least I believe so. Take care.